Hi everyone. So it feels like ages since I've come on and done a live, and partly that's because I have been suffering with the cold from hell. It really wiped me out. Normally I blitz through a cold, and I hoped that that would be the case this time, but as it seemed like I was getting over it, it sort of come back again with full vengeance. So apologies for my sound. I'm struggling to talk and breathe at the same time. So I may need to take a few more breaks when I'm talking. So apologies for that. But I feel better today than I have done in over a week. So I thought I'd come on and just say hi so you all know I'm still here. So yeah, the cold has really wiped me out. I've heard people saying that actually the colds they're suffering with at the moment have felt worse than normal. And I must say, this is probably the worst cold I've had in quite a long time. And it did wipe me out. It did affect my ability to function for a couple of days. And there was a day or two where all I wanted to do was sit on the couch, eat, and watch TV. So I did. That's what I did. Okay, so what I wanted to come on today was I just quickly wanted to talk about keeping things simple. So I often get asked, and this came up recently in a Facebook group that I'm in, what advice would you give to yourself when you first started out? And I put keep it simple. And I say this to my clients all the time. And what I mean by that is absolutely everything in your business needs to be simple. So this doesn't just apply to one area of your business, this applies to all areas of your business. And we've all been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. I've been in my business now 8 years, and I can definitely put my hand up and say that during that time, I made things difficult for myself, or I overcomplicated something, or I was overthinking something, and I made stuff difficult, without a doubt. It made it harder for me to deliver on it. It made it harder for me to deliver the level of service that I wanted to clients. It made it difficult for me to get consistent with my marketing and my message. And it made it difficult for potential clients to be able to buy from me, all because I'm trying to give too much. And that's the common mistake that a lot of business owners make. They're trying to be all to everybody. So when you say to people, what solutions do you have? They often reel off reams and reams of solutions that they've got because they want a solution for every scenario, every potential type of client, at every potential level of budget. And I get that when you're starting out, you want as many opportunities to come your way as possible. And that often means creating solutions. So, what happens is you start out with, say, 2 or 3 solutions in your business, and before you know it, you've got 20. And that makes your business model quite complicated. Simplification is key when it comes to your solutions. And one of the ways of doing that is to categorize the way that you deliver solutions. So I have 3 main ways that I work with clients: one-to-one, group, and digitally. And that means things like downloads, things, passive income type things. Those are the 3 ways that people can work with me. Yes, there are other solutions underneath that, but they are certainly a lot more streamlined now than they were before. Under my one-to-ones, they can work with me for 12 weeks, 6 months, or one-off days. Quite simple, yeah? And I don't go around offering every single solution that I have to every single person that I meet. It's really important to find out where their needs are and what solution they need so that you match it accordingly. Because if I say to a client, well, actually we can do this, this, or this, or actually if you want to, you can do that, and budget wise maybe you want to do this, I'm making it complicated. I'm selling in a really complicated way. And I know that it is because I'm finding it difficult to tell them everything that I'm doing. So streamlining the solutions is really important. So when we say about keeping it simple, that is a great place to start, because that's going to have a ripple effect to other areas of your business. It's going to affect your marketing. It's going to affect your sales processes and the way that you sell to people. It's going to affect the communication and the connections that you make, because if you're not clear about the services and you're not clear about your niche, you're talking to a lot of people that just might not be right for you, and you might not be right for them. but it also affects your inner workings of the business, how you deliver stuff. If you've got a lot of solutions under your banner right now, it means you've got lots of different ways of working and delivering, which is complicated for you. And I always say we have to be in a business that, yes, is happy for us to be in, but it's also easy to manage. It's so important that our businesses are easy to manage. We make them complicated by overcomplicating and overthinking other aspects of our business, because all that comes straight back into us. And suddenly we have a lot to do. There's a lot of weight on our shoulders. There's a lot of tasks every single day. And we become a slave to our business just to be able to keep up, right? But if we streamline and we simplify, that flow comes back into the business. We have one or two models that we use to deliver services, and that is simplified the way that we work. It also means that we can keep refining those ways so much easier. If you've got 20 different processes to do more or less the same thing, but it's for different services and outcomes, that's 20 things you have to look at for potential improvement to streamline. If you have 3 or 4, that's a lot easier, right? So keeping it simple is definitely a motto that I have in my business. And when I'm going a little bit crazy and I'm throwing all the ideas out there and I'm putting them into the mix, the first question I ask myself is, Lise, is this simple? And if it isn't, I've got to make some cuts somewhere, or I've got to switch my focus, because I want my business to be simple. I want it to be easy to work in. I want it to be easy to deliver. And I want it to be simple for my clients to get from me what they need. And that means keeping the business simple. I think as well, the other aspect of having a complicated business with a lot of moving parts and a lot of systems and a lot of different ways of working means that the headspace is constantly full. And you can't focus on 20 different things at the same time. Nobody can. We can only focus on one thing at a time. And that is definitely a mantra in my business. Always has been. I've always talked about it to my clients. Focus in on one thing. Do that well, then move on to the next thing. I see so many business owners trying to pick up 10 different balls and juggling them without much success, rather than saying, do you know what, this is the one that is most important to me now, this is the one that's going to have the greatest positive impact back into me and my business, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to market that, and I'm going to deliver that, and etc., etc. And we follow it through, and this creates then also a great template, because we redefine that, and that gives us a template to how we might want to be working in our business, and we can flow that then into the other solutions and processes that we have in the business. So it's so important to simplify not just your offering and the way that you work, but simplify your thinking. Really get clear, get clarity around what is important to you in your business right now. Where are the priorities? Because we cannot do everything. Nobody can. You get to a point where you can bring more people into your business to help you do more stuff, but that becomes a little bit easier to do when you're already clear about how stuff already works, right? So you need to still streamline your business, even if your intention is to bring other people in to help. If it's a complicated business, the people you're bringing in to help are going to find it complicated to be in, which means you're not going to get the outcomes that you want, and you're making then life difficult for someone else. So simplicity is definitely the key in business. Simple business models tend to be the most successful. Businesses that have lots and lots of moving parts, and we've all been in them, right? I mean, I know how I have. I've been in businesses that have been full of red tape, lots of departments, lots of chiefs, lots of systems, lots of processes. And well, this system does that, and that helps those people over there. This system does this, and that helps those people over there. It's mind-boggling. And it's really difficult to work in an environment like that. And yet somehow, when we create our own businesses, we end up creating the same sort of mess. And it's normally when something breaks that we recognize we have made it difficult. and that it is no longer simple. And we don't want to get to that point, right? We don't want to get to that point where we're burning out, where we're letting people down, where we're struggling to deliver our services, where we're struggling to communicate our message, where we're working 24/7 and not getting the results. And we're flogging ourselves, right? We're running ourselves absolutely ragged because we're trying to do too many things all at the same time. We're trying to be too many things to too many people. If we keep it simple, it will be a lot more effective. It will be a lot easier for us to be in the business, which means we're going to get better results. Ultimately, that's what we want, right? If you're looking for growth, you know, I think of the film Evolution. I don't know if you've seen the film, but in that it talks about the strongest organism. And it's the baseline organism that survives. The simplest organism is the one that really grows. And it's like that in business. Yeah, the simple something is, the easier it is to build on it. The more complicated it is, growth becomes difficult and unsustainable. And that is something to think about, because you may have systems, processes, ways of working in your business now that serve you well. You've got to start asking your question, what if I doubled my workload? What if this sold really well? I recently had it when I was thinking about my mastermind, and I was thinking about what I would put into my mastermind if I would offer extra one-to-one sessions. So at the moment, there's 2 one-to-one sessions included in the weekly group sessions of the mastermind. And I thought, well, what if I added another one in? That would be a great service thing. And I thought, but what if 30 people buy my mastermind? That would be 30 hours a month alone just on doing one-to-ones on top of all of the other work that I'm doing. So it starts to then open up. Is this sustainable? Have I overcomplicated what I'm offering? Am I trying to throw too many things in it, throwing too much value, overselling it to a certain extent when I don't need to? And these are questions that we need to ask ourselves whenever we're bringing something new into our business, whenever we're creating something new. Is this something that A, is going to be easy for me to deliver and continue to deliver? And is it sustainable? If I grow, can I still do it? There might be other ways of doing it, because with growth comes the opportunity to invest, right? And that could mean buying different software, bringing in an outsourcer, building a team, doing more automation. So it might change slightly the way that you work, but the premise of it, will it work if you grow? And that is definitely something that I don't think we ask ourselves often enough. I think a lot of small business owners, and I have been guilty of this too in the past, is just finding ways that work for me now. And whilst that is important to find ways that work for you now, you also have to have some future proofing into your business model. And that includes your services and your solutions, not just your operational stuff. But I think the biggest shift for me when I was looking at simplifying my business and keeping it really simple for me to be in and for me to communicate out was the headspace, the energy. I saved so much energy and focus space by simplifying it. Instead of, I'm an overthinker anyway by nature, is who I am. And, you know, I have bouts of anxiety and worry and all of those things, like a lot of people do. Well, I'm adding to that every time I bring something that's really complicated into my business, that isn't streamlined, that isn't future-proof, that doesn't really sit and work with what I'm doing at the moment. You know, those services that were like, well, I can make a few bucks out of that, let's do that, but aren't really aligned with your core. You know, we forget who we are sometimes and we keep straying from the path. Be an expert in your field. You don't have to be an expert in all the crops. That is something that, you know, has kept me on the straight and narrow with my offering, because I could do lots of different things. But that's not who I am. That's not what my business is. Someone else can do that. It's okay to let some business opportunities go because they're not right for you. The more stuff you're trying to pack in, the more difficult being in your business will become. And the more will be going on in here. All that overthinking, all that overwhelm, the sheer volume of work and worrying about it, not being able to be out of your business when you need to be. You know, as I said at the beginning of this, I've had quite a bad cold for about a week and a half now, and it really wiped me out. It took me by surprise, really, of how poorly I have felt over the last few days. But knowing that my business is quite simple to function in and run meant that things could still happen in my business while I wasn't happening in my business. That's the beauty of simplicity. If it was really complicated and I was selling 20 different services and delivering 20 different things at the same time, it would have made taking time out of my business really difficult. And also, if I was bringing someone in, it'd probably take me a week to explain to them how everything works. I'm not going to get the best out of them, and it's just not going to be beneficial to either party. So simplicity is definitely key. It has freed up my headspace. It's freed up some of that overwhelm. It's got rid of some of that worry and concern. I'm no longer concerned about what if I grow, because I'm going to grow, right? I'm not concerned about what that means for me because I know that this is a sustainable model. This is something that would be able to grow without adding more complexity into my business. So that's what I wanted to come on today and talk about because it crops up quite a lot in conversations that I have. And that recent post just sparked it for me, which is, what would you tell yourself? And it's definitely keep it simple. And that's about everything in my business. And I think that it's through the pain of overcomplicating things or having difficult systems or too many things that makes you realize the need for simplicity. But we can avoid some of these pitfalls. Just constantly ask yourself that question when you're thinking of bringing something new in. Does it play a part? And most of the time, when I see people offering more services than they should, is because they're trying to grab some of someone else's market. Oh, well, I can do a bit of that. I'll just do that myself. Rather than let it go to someone else, we want to hold on to everything and we want to be a bit of everything to everybody. You are what you are. Stay in your lane, because as soon as you start trying to get in someone else's lane, you're taking on more work and more complexity in your business. You're also diluting your message. You're making it complicated for your clients to understand who you are and how you help. Stand for something, not everything. That is so important in your business. I still have to have the conversation with myself when those ideas are sparking and flowing. Is this who I am? Does this fit with the message that I want to put out? Is it in my lane? Is it part of my core as a business? Is it where I want to be going? Is it sustainable? I have to ask myself those questions because it's so easy to get excited about new possibilities in your business that before you know it, you've taken on a load of things that have made your business more complicated to be in and to serve in. And if it's difficult for us, it's difficult for our clients. Let's keep it simple. Simple solutions means simple messaging, simple marketing that's going to be more effective, that's going to connect to the right people and give you much better results. It also means that it's simpler for you as the business owner to function in, which is ultimately what we want, right? I didn't start my business to spend 80 hours a week working on admin and processes like my corporate life. Why would I do that? The point was to create something flexible and fluid. And the simpler the business model and the simpler way that I work in, the easier it is for me to get that in my business. And that's what I really want to leave you thinking about today. How simple is your business? Are you the strongest organism? Yeah. Are you the one that's going to thrive and grow because you've kept things simple in your business? You're clear about who you are and why. You're clear about who you help and how. You've got those core products that really deliver the results that you want. You've really understood how to deliver them in the easiest, most effective way that benefits both you and your client. That's what you're looking for in your business. So keep it simple. If you've got stuff in your business right now that is giving you a headache, that causes you overwhelm, that is difficult for you to deliver upon, really start thinking about how you can simplify it. Maybe repackage your solutions a little bit so that you pull things together rather than have lots of separate services. That may be easier for you to deliver. It will certainly be easier for you to sell. Think about the processes and the ways that you're working right now that are giving you the most headaches and frustrations. What could you do to simplify that? How could you simplify the way that you function and show up in the business? What's going to be easier for you? So look around your business right now. How complicated is it? Could you explain to me very easily, very quickly, what it is you do and how you help people and what your different services are? Because if that conversation takes 30 minutes, your business is not simple. So ask yourself that question. Be objective. Do not try to be everything to everyone. You don't have to sell every service under the sun. You don't have to offer every solution. There are other people out there that will offer that. Be okay with letting some stuff go if it's not in your lane and doesn't align with your core. Focusing on your stuff, right? I talked recently about, in one of my groups, about competition. And it's so easy to get swayed by what others are doing. And you might see your competition doing other things, adding other solutions and services on. Good for them. It doesn't mean you have to do it. If it's not aligned with how you want to work, if it means, I see it all the time with other business mentors and coaches that are out there doing things that I'm not doing. There's a reason why I'm not doing them. I don't want to, because it's not aligned with how I want to be working in my business. It's not aligned with how I want to be spending my time, because we all value different things. And I'm okay with that. Not everybody is going to be my client. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that I'm really good at some things, and these some things are the things that I'm going to focus in on. I'm not going to spread my focus and be mediocre at everything. I want to be fantastic and great at something. And that is so important for you and your business. What is it you're fantastic at? What is it that you're great at? Focus in on that. Simplify your business, simplify your outlook, simplify your messaging, simplify your solutions, because you will get much better results from being a little bit more single-minded at times in your business. Yeah. Focus on one or two things at a time. You can't do everything. Nobody can. No such thing as multitasking. All right. Do one thing well. Keep it simple. So let me know how you get on. Let me know your thoughts around the keeping it simple. Let me know if you have overcomplicated your business at any point, or if you are at that point now where you feel like, actually, do you know what? It is quite complicated to be in my business. It does take a lot of time to deliver services. I am spending a lot of time doing X, Y, Z. I do find it difficult to be clear about my message. I don't have clarity around my solutions and how I help. These are the things that you can fix. Nothing has to stay the same if you don't want it to. So have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. So pop your comments in. I'd love to hear those. And I will see you all very soon. Take care.